starting a small bathroom. This is the one that Marie uses, and so many people ask why Marie doesn't stay in this room attached to the bathroom, and that's just because the room that she's in, which is the one that we recently redid on the channel, is larger, and she just selected that one, but we're the only ones living here, so she uses this bathroom. It's just right through the hallway, and this is a space that we are going to be making over. Now for this project, I was actually asked by Architectural Digest to do kind of a social exclusive with them over on TikTok and Instagram for this bathroom. So I'm actually filming all of this as I'm also creating the content for them. We are changing everything, and I'm very excited for this transformation. Leading from the kitchen through the archway is the laundry room, which is right here. And then this is a bathroom we're making over. But something you might be able to tell is this bathroom is extremely small. It's a very, very small bathroom, and it has 2 doors, which this door here essentially is not necessary. A lot of old houses had a lot of doors because they didn't have air conditioning, so it let the air kind of go through the rooms, which on the other side currently looks something like this. So this is a door that we are going to be walling off, and this will all then be one usable wall that we could hopefully then put some storage up here, because the only storage in this bathroom for Marie is under the sink. So I'd like to add some sort of wall cabinet storage solution up here. The doorway has been opened completely. We removed the original jamb in there, or the one that was added, and all the plaster, and we cleaned it all up so it's nice and ready to actually be enclosed. Now what I'm going to be doing down here is just removing these tiles here so that we could add the wall in here and get that all drywalled. A door is actually not as hard as it looks. What you're going to start off by doing is getting it down to the studs, as I did here, just removing all the trim, and then I went outside and cut down my 2x4s, and these are going to go on the left and right side. We are essentially creating a new frame on the inside of the door frame that we're going to be attaching the drywall to, and I'm just using some 2-inch long screws to attach these to the previous frame. I also cut a 2x4 for the top and bottom to finish off the frame, and then added one to the center for a center support. That way we can add the drywall. This is the first time I've ever purchased drywall before, and this is what it looks like, a large 4x8 sheet of it, and this is particularly for bathrooms. It has a moisture barrier on this side, so that's why it's purple. To cut drywall, all you're going to do is score it with a blade, and it just snaps. Perfect. Gonna start adding this drywall piece with drywall screws in this. On the top center, you can actually see where I drew the 2x4 on the underside. That's where I knew where to screw it down the middle, and then I used some joint compound and mesh taping on either side, just anywhere where the joints needed to be filled, and I filled those in. The joint compound is applied, and we're gonna let this dry overnight, but it's looking so good so far, and I'm probably gonna have to do one more layer in the morning once we sand it off. Time to remove everything from the bathroom that is not staying, because we're gonna be plastering or concreting this whole bathroom from the shower to the ceiling to the walls. We already sliced the silicone. Is it so heavy? Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's not ridiculous.
Goodbye. Oh. Goodbye.
Have a towel laid on it.
No. Our new vanity fits in. No more vanity, no more glass. Let's get the mirror off. Let's take off the light as well. We don't need this one. It belongs in what looks like a hospital. In order to move a toilet, you have to get all the water out of it, so I did that with this cup and poured it in a mop bucket, and then once it was all out, we were able to remove the toilet. Is that the poop hole? Oh, sick. I've never seen a toilet hole. Can you put your hand in?
Yeah. Yeah, why is it so brown?
not gonna be demoing this bathroom tile at all on the walls, I have to create the same projection on the door that we enclosed that the tile has created. So I actually used a piece of plywood that was about 1/4 inch thick. That way the tile in our enclosed door area is flush and it looks seamless. And then I also added a small piece of wood trim to the top there to connect up the chair rail on the tile. I forgot to share that section, but I did add that. So, as you can see here, I've done a little bit of joint compounding at the top of the shower because up here is where the tile kind of juts off and off the side. Around the edge, we have the chair rail molding. So what I did was I actually used some joint compound to essentially build up the wall a little bit and then smooth it into the current wall. And again, this is just so I did not have to rip out all the tile in this bathroom. That would have literally required me to rip out all the tile, redo all of the drywall, throw everything, have the entire shower re-hot mopped. Everything would have been kind of a big project and undertaking. So I really wanted to do the most I could in the preparation steps, which are these ones. So I added the joint compound there to kind of meet up with the tile because we are going to be putting a waterproof concrete over the top of all of this, multiple coats of it. That's going to create a waterproof sealed barrier, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. And I tried to do that around the top of the cove as well, including the corners, but I think this will give us a little bit more of a seamless look once we apply the concrete over top, which will be multiple coats, and hopefully it'll just even itself out and look nice and seamless with the wall. And this is a product that we're using to concrete and plaster the entire walls. It's a mixture of concrete and plaster by a brand called Neoded. It's called Concreta, and I used this only once in the past on some countertops. So we are going to be putting it over the tile, over the wall, over the shower, all over everything. Yes, like I mentioned, this is a waterproof shower plaster that you could put essentially over anything. Now, if you do have large scale tiles, they do suggest you put down the special tape first when you do it, but you have to mix it up with a drill and kind of a drill mixer attachment, and then they add the pigment. They give you a little pigment cup for whatever you do. I chose this color called Westwood Beige. Have the two trowels. I'm going to pick up with one and then kind of scoop it off and plaster it on the wall with the other. So let's add on. This process is just like, I mean guys, it is messy, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to make this look like a glamorous process because it is not. However, I enjoy things like this. Like, I really do enjoy plastering. It's something that is satisfying. Like, I can listen to music and do it, and I've worked on this over a couple of days. I'm not going to lie. Now, for your last coat of plaster, you do want to do it all in one day. I only did 2 coats, but I did cover the entire bathroom, including the ceiling, the walls, everything, because there are cove ceilings in this bathroom and everything connects up beautifully, so there's no kind of sharp edges where you could start and stop. So I actually kind of had to do it all in one go. Gonna do the shower floor now. All the walls in here have the first coat and let them dry for a bit, and now we're going to do the floor. My favorite part of plastering is connecting the edges. I don't know why. It's so satisfying. I want to share with you how the first coat of plaster looks in the bathroom. It looks so good. Here's me just kind of walking in, and this is what it's looking like so far. So as you can see, starting to even out a little bit. You could still see some of the tile kind of grout lines here, but with the second coat, I'm hoping that we're not going to be able to see any of those. And as you can see over here, this is starting to blend really nicely. It's not looking super harsh. And even over on this side, it's like blended pretty great. I think once we add another coat on top, the reason there's this like crazy color variation is we started and stopped on the first coat because you can only do it on the first, but on your final, you have to do the entire coat at once. So that is what we are gonna start doing right now. So for the second coat, I actually had Justin help me with this. That way we can get the entire coat done in one day. This is a small bathroom and we were able to do it in probably like 6 hours or so. So we spreaded all of the concrete on, mixed it up to start, and then went all the way around everything. As you can see, I haven't even removed that shower head yet. I am going to swap that. But the great thing is I have an access panel from the back side of the bathroom because this is an old house. So that's where all of the kind of access is. And I used a damp sponge just to smooth out any of the graininess as it starts to dry down. Hello! Doing a little bathroom check-in. It is looking so good in here. I don't know, I think I probably already did mention that this is being filmed for Architectural Digest, which is really exciting. So I've been filming a lot of the process on my phone and kind of forgetting some of it for the YouTube. So the floor's now laid, but I'm gonna give you guys like an overview of what happened. In order to create these floors, I ended up using some pantry pavers that I get from Clay Tile. And I love these because they give you the look of kind of like an old travertine paver or cobblestone kind of effect, but they're not insanely expensive. So they kind of give you that reclaimed feel, but they're not overly priced and they're not super thick either. So they're not hard to cut or work with. I really enjoy them. I'll link them below for you guys. I use them throughout my entire kitchen, laundry room, everywhere. And in the actual bathroom, we just laid them in kind of your traditional brick pattern, mixed up some mortar, and then you can kind of see them going down here. Justin actually laid them because I was on a flight when we were working on this bathroom, and he laid them really beautifully. It looks so good, and he said it only took him about 2 hours to do. This bathroom is literally like a 5 by 5 foot square, so not too large. Look how good it looks. I'm so happy with how the floor looks. Now, these are tumbled travertine like pavers, and I use these in my kitchen, as you guys know, but I ended up using the square shape. It was a different style. These are the squares that I was mentioning, but I did use some of the bricks on the threshold here to create this kind of like striped detail, which I absolutely love. As you know, there used to be a door here, and I was always gonna have the same tile transition from here into the laundry room and then back into the kitchen. So I wanted to just do various shapes. But just look how good the plaster looks. Like the concrete plaster looks absolutely incredible. On camera, it kind of shows a little bit more contrasty, and also keep in mind, vanity's gonna be here, toilet's gonna be right there, mirror. So we are gonna have some items in here, of course, but the actual plaster treatment is just stunning. It was definitely a labor of love. I've just been doing a lot of plaster lately in this house. I feel like Spanish homes and plaster just pair so nicely, and I love how this is looking. The color's so pretty. The light in this bathroom is really just so stunning. You can see kind of a few. Just feels so completely different than, as you can see, like what's out here. This is a grout bag I'm using. I got this at Floor and Decor, but I'll link some below for you. Now on the bottom, I actually ended up using the tile to create a baseboard, and I love the way that this looked and felt because I didn't want to add wood in between the plaster and the stone. It just felt like the stone and the plaster were one, and I wanted them to stay connected. So for the grout, I just thinned that out, added it into a grout bag, and grouted it just as I do traditionally with any of these masonry projects, like when I've shared my kitchen or the laundry room. You just grout it and you essentially over grout it and let it dry down, and once it starts to dry down, you could knock the top off with a trowel. So you let this dry for probably about 45 minutes to an hour or so, and go all the way through, piping through all your different lines, but also making sure you leave yourself an area to exit. You want to start at one side and then kind of work your way out. So as you can see here, once this area dried, went through with my trowel and scraped off any excess grout, and you can fill in and smash any of that grout into any areas that isn't fully filled. Hello and welcome to my vanity that I found on Facebook Marketplace. As many of you know, I tend to buy a lot on there. Actually, I found this one on OfferUp, same place that I found the Fox table on. So OfferUp has been doing me well lately, and I got this vanity for $275 on OfferUp. It was new in box, but from like a warehouse or something that got a liquidation of vanities. I loved kind of these little accents as well. And then also it has a really pretty marble top and a sink already integrated into it. So I already went ahead and used this product right here. This is Crud Cutter Gloss Off. So I used this and I just wiped it across the entire piece and got all of the gloss. I just let it sit now for about 10 minutes. So I'm opting for Farrow & Ball. I'm gonna be using the Estate Eggshell finish in the color Sardine, which is one of the new colors from the Christopher John Rogers line. And we're gonna be doing 2 coats of this and then adding on some new hardware, which we're gonna go shopping for in just a bit right after adding on the paint. Whenever I'm painting any cabinetry, I always use a cabinet and door roller. It's like a velvety one and it just makes it so much easier. So pretty. Oh my gosh, it reminds me of my breakfast nook. The old breakfast nook. This is exactly the color. My little tip for painting furniture is to always make sure that you're finishing off with the roller. So I start off with the brush and I go through and I brush just all of the details, any areas that have like kind of ridges that need to really get that paint inside of them. And then I go back through with the roller, and the roller is what smooths everything out. And I try to go over the top of everything I painted with the brush as well to give it that nice clean finish that the roller gives it. So we have made some progress, and check out how it's looking. Floor is currently wet. That's why it's looking a little crazy at the moment. Has to dry down. I just cleaned it with the Grout Haze tile remover, or like the grout remover. It looks like this. It's gonna dry down quite a bit lighter, but I love the way the tile looks so much. The Vanity, I actually ended up changing the color of. So as you can see, I put the blue one in this morning, and with the brass hardware and with this kind of very clean marble top, it just felt very pretty. It almost felt like a little bit childlike. I think the blue next to the very stark white kind of leaned a little bit of like turquoise and white. So I ended up swapping it for this color, and I just love it. Now, it looks so pretty in this bathroom, and the color is Aurora Brown from Sherwin-Williams. I just picked from their historic colors, and now I want to actually get the mirror and light up in here because I want it to start actually looking like a bathroom again. We also got the glass in yesterday, which looks so good. This is the original glass, and everything still functions just as before, which is great. Really nice. I still need to bring that out. I need to get a handle for this too. I don't know what I want to do yet, but it definitely looks so much better. Like, look how good that looks. So pretty. I have to do all the new hardware in here. I have a very special light that I've been saving for probably the past like 3 or 4 months now. I found this at a shop in Los Angeles called Panoply Shop. It is so cute. If you have the opportunity to go there, gotta check it out. It's a really cute curated vintage store, and it's really hard to find sconces one-off. Normally they're sold in pairs because they're meant to go on either side of something, but the owner actually had a single of this sconce that I've been wanting for a long time. I've seen some of my favorite designers use these sconces in the past, and she had a solo, so I was like, oh, this would be great for the bathroom, and I picked this one up. It has the gold backing on it. It's gonna be going up here, and I just think it's gonna be so beautiful. I'm about to add the toilet, and I got a new toilet for this room because the previous one was so modern and just not cute, and I didn't realize toilets are really not that expensive. The 2 I was going between at Lowe's were between $149 and $199, so I ended up getting the one for $199, and we're going to put this in the bathroom now. I am going to hire a plumber to come attach all the fixtures properly, but I'm just placing them for the time. Oh, that toilet is actually so cute. I love it. I remember this oil painting I got for $10 from an estate sale, and it was in the damaged area because it had a rip in the back of it, but look how old it is. And you can't even tell the rip at all. Like, I mean, of course you can, but it's pretty well masked, and I love the colors, and the frame I thought was so nice. I was thinking of maybe hanging it here. I bought all of this unlacquered brass hardware for my bathroom. However, it's far too shiny, so I want to share with you how to age it in just a few hours. You'll also just need some vinegar and some salt, and you're gonna need a large tub that has a lid on it, and then a smaller tub that could fit on the inside. So the first thing you're gonna do is just clean off your metal with some fine steel wool, open up your tub, and pour a generous amount of that vinegar into the bottom. You're only gonna want about an inch or so, just enough you feel like is enough for the project you're working on. Then I also added the salt on the inside there and placed my smaller tub in the inside. So what actually ages the metal is not the vinegar and salt itself, it's actually the fumes from the vinegar and salt that creates a reaction that then ages the unlacquered brass. So you're gonna put that lid on, close it nice and tight, and then check back every couple hours. I just took the lid off, and this is after about 45 minutes. As you can see, it's starting to get nice and aged. This is after about 2.5 hours sitting in here, and it's starting to really get aged and looking so pretty. I left mine in for about 5 hours and just loved the way that it ended up looking. It was nighttime at this point, so I pulled them out, but hopefully you can see some of that distressing on the surface of the brass. The bathroom is officially complete, and I think it is time to share with you the reveal of this bathroom makeover, because this is probably the most intense bathroom makeover I have done in terms of just kind of transforming a space. I adore the way that it turned out. Now I will say, Architectural Digest has already gone live with this content, and a lot of people had so many questions about it. So if anyone has questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them for you. However, keep in mind, this product is meant for the walls. Like they're supposed to get wet. It's like used at water parks. It's used for this purpose, and I just used it in the bathroom. Marie has already been using the shower behind me as well for about a month now. This was filmed quite a while back, so I'm just kind of filming this little outro before the reveal, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So let me share it in 3, 2,